Rosa returned to the lobby. It was still her time to rest, but her expression made it look as though she couldn't sleep deeply with all this tension. You have to force yourself to lie down. It'll get tough for later on at this. It'll get tough for you later on at this rate. Thanks for caring. I just can't sleep. And I went and took a shower at least, so that will be enough. The next person can rest. What about you two, Kirie-san, Rudolph-san? What will we do, Rudolph-san? Will we rest? You can rest if you want. I'll stay awake. That's the only manly thing I can do right now, ovviamente. Then I'll stay awake. Staying awake with my husband is the only womanly thing I can do right now. You two truly are close. As are you too. It seems that Eva and Hideyoshi-san are out cold. It appears as though, unlike Rosa, they can't fight against their age. As though in response to those words, the door to the hall clunked open. Eva and Hideyoshi returned to the guest room from the guest room. That's none of your business. Oh, Rosa, are you still alright without sleeping? What about you, Nesan? Why not take it easy and rest? I just can't get to sleep. After taking a shower, my drowsiness faded away. Rudolph, Kirie, you can rest if you want.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. For now, the sentiment alone is enough. Why don't you go first, Aniki? How kind of you. But I cannot rest first. That is the most I can do as the oldest brother. Do not worry. The two of us will be awake until the very end. More importantly, Eva-san, are you alright? You look a little pale. Come to think of it, you're right. You're feeling a bit hot, aren't you? You're feeling a bit hot, you know? Hideyoshi put his hand up against Eva's forehead. It seems that Eva wasn't feeling her best. Told you so. That's what happens when you break your daily cycle at your age. Is it a cold? Natsu. Could you call down Dr. Nanjo? Yes. I'm fine. You don't have to make such a big deal out of it. I have some medicine, so I'll be fine. I tend to get a fever when I'm tired. Don't worry. Nesan, take it easy, okay? Thank you. When my siblings gather without me around, I get the feeling everyone is talking behind my back. It is a persecution complex for long ago. Sorry, okay? I won't say anything. I will never say something bad about you when you're away. What is it, Nesan? You've been acting strange for a while, you know? Shouldn't you get a little rest now? You're right. I started thinking about raising money by March and it made my headache even worse. That isn't good. Rest. I restrain myself so that your headache doesn't get worse. I've had a bad headache myself for a while now. Thank you. Well then, I'll count on what you've said and rest for a while. What's up, Eva? Why so bent out of shape all of a sudden? Sorry about this, but let us rest a bit longer. Sorry. Vediamo, Doc, ma i sacrifici del secondo crepuscolo devono per forza essere vicini romanticamente oppure possono essere vicini anche platonicamente? Penso entrambi, cioè vanno che sono vicini, che sia affetto, che sia amore romantico, non importa. Va bene lo stesso. Hideyoshi and Eva went... anzi. Va bene qualsiasi tipo di affetto e vicinanza tra i due sacrifici per essere tali. Ecco. Hideyoshi went after Eva and left the lobby. I don't like this atmosphere. Everything's so strained. That's no surprise. There was a murder earlier this morning, and since then we've been eating canned food and holding guns. It's natural that we will start to build up stress. I wonder if the kids up there have also built up stress. I'm worried about Maria. She tends to get irritable in times like this. Just then, they heard the sound of wild footsteps from upstairs. The guest house wasn't a cheap building, so if they had been any normal footsteps, there was no way they would have heard them. But it was like the sound of someone stamping their feet in frustration. And not a moment later, in addition to the apparent sound of feet running out into the upstairs corridor, they could hear Maria calling, "Ooh, ooh, ooh," over and over again, sounding displeased. Rosa grabbed her head, ruffled up her hair, and voicely moaned in anguish. The adults conscientiously, come si pronuncia? È coscientemente, ok, but conscientiously, ok, bene. Conscientiously turned their backs to her, pretending not to notice. The noisy clamor came downstairs and flew into the lobby. It was Maria who was sobbing, and the other children who had come down with her, and Nanjo. In other words, everyone on the second floor came downstairs because of Maria's tantrum. Rosa couldn't hide her dizziness at the scale of the annoyance her daughter was bringing to everyone. Sorry, Auntie Rosa. We tried to calm her, but she just wouldn't listen. Che succede, Maria? Ecco. What is it, Maria? Could you be a little more quiet? Everyone's looking. It's the rose of hers from the rose garden. She suddenly started saying that she was worried about it. I think she's half asleep. She suddenly woke up and started going on about how worried she was for that rose. Maria-chan, calm down. That was just a dream. That was Beatrice and mine, Rose. So if you don't care of it, Beatrice will get mad at me. It might be broken again. Mamma mia, non l'abbiamo mai sentita piangere così forte, Maria. Neanche quando prendeva ceffoni a mano aperta da sua madre. Listen, I'm telling you to quiet down a bit, alright? The children were taken aback by the sudden rise of the tone of Rosa's voice, but Maria's crying just grew louder and her tantrum just grew fiercer. Rosa-san, you mustn't scold a child so bluntly without attending to what they say. In times like this, it is good to give them some warm milk or something. Oh, is there any here? The milk we served in the place of breakfast earlier was the last. Doesn't anyone have a sedative to use on kids? Cerbottana. You know, those silver pill things. Of course I do. I'll search for them now and make her take them. Without hiding her displeasure, Rosa grabbed her handbag and she had placed on the sofa and fished around for the medicine. It seemed that she had brought some child-use sedatives for Maria's tantrums. She found it and tipped the bottle into her palm, but it seemed to be empty. Irritated, Rosa shook the bottle several times, but that didn't change the fact that there was nothing in there. All the while, Maria crying was growing more and more intense. Pillole di mercurio. Gli dai mercury poisoning e vedi come si addormentano. Meanwhile, Eva was lying in her bed, covered by the bedding. Hideyoshi returned from the washroom, folding a handkerchief soaked in water. My, this one is one nasty fever. I'm sure it's the poisonous air at this family conference that got you. For now, you can forget all about the other relatives. Alright? As Hideyoshi spoke to her kindly, he set the soaked handkerchief gently on Eva's burning forehead. Eva rested her own hand on top of his. Your hand feels wonderfully cool. If my hand feels wonderful, your fever must be pretty bad. No worries, the medicine will start working soon. Plus, my hand is a magical hand. If I just put my hand up against your forehead like this, see? Any fever will melt right away. You're right. Your hand always makes my fevers fade. Yep. No need for a doctor when you've got my hand. Don't worry. And close your eyes. The fever will fade right away thanks to my magic. Yes, I know. I can feel your magic. Hideyoshi was about to say they called that the placebo effect, but he stopped. If Eva said that she could feel his magic from his hand, then that was alright for now. I wonder if magic really exists. Yeah, sure does. Only those who believe can tell, though. There's actually a lot of magic like that out there in the world. If magic is real, then I wonder if witches are real too. Oh? You mean like the witch of the forest Beatrice? She probably does exist for those who believe. Just like God won't show himself except in front of those who strongly believe. You know, for long ago, I was able to use magic too. Oh? That's so. And you've been a witch once too. You know, whether I had a bad dream, or whenever I had a dream that I wanted to come true no matter what, I wished strongly and tried hard, and it came true every time. With my magic, my grades were always the best. And I even became the student council president and got into the university I wanted by my own ability. Everything I wished for was granted. That's right. Your magic was always a thing to be reckoned with. Oh, you're definitely a witch. And you work harder than anyone. I know all about it. You know, ever since I was a kid, the whole time, there has been another me inside myself who've always supported me. And the other self was a witch. I didn't believe in Beatrice, the witch of the forest. I always believed that if a witch on Rokkenjima did exist, it was the witch inside my heart. I am so grateful to that witch inside myself. I'm always so grateful that she let me meet up with you. Oh. You're always too timid when you get sick. Don't say anything for now. I'll stay like this the whole time, till your fever has gone down, okay? Yeah. No matter what, don't take your hand away. Somehow I feel like I'm becoming something that isn't myself, and it's been scaring me for a while. I get the feeling that the witch inside of me was provoked by Beatrice and is growing stronger and stronger. Somehow, it feels like she's going to swallow me up. It's alright. As long as I'm with you, there's not a thing to be afraid of. Remember the time we went to that dangerous country and the old bus was robbed? I repelled them. Honey, you just handed over your gold watch and begged them to go away. It was pretty lame, but it was cool. This hand, please don't move it away, no matter what. Not even if I fall asleep. And even if something creepy sneaks inside, protect me. Yeah, leave it to me. So, stop worrying now and get some sleep. The medicine and my magic will start working real soon. Eva finally calmed her heart and closed her eyes. Just then there was the sound of a door being opened violently from the direction of the lobby. It seems that Maria was having a tantrum and the screams of ooh ooh could be heard, along with Rosa rebuking yells. That was probably very annoying to listen to, or maybe it was taking a toll on her headache. Eva moaned as though in pain and buried herself in the covers. It was easy to guess what was happening. Maria had probably had a tantrum for some reason, gone down to the lobby, and when Rosa scolded her for it, they started arguing. And then and then the looks of the rest of the family had been too much to bear, so Rosa had taken Maria out in the corridor. Hideyoshi had no desire to interfere with Rosa and Maria's problem, but just for now, since Eva's condition was so bad, he wanted them to take their ruckus somewhere else. Just wait a second. I'll go ask them to keep it down. Come back quickly. Don't worry. I won't leave this room. Hideyoshi removed the chain, opened the door, and stuck his face out into the corridor. He immediately met Rosa's gaze. Everything's alright, Rosa-san. I'm sorry. Did all this noise wake you up? Maria-chan, sorry. Auntie Eva isn't feeling well and she's trying to sleep. Could you quiet down a smidgen? Maria's tone didn't change after being asked by Hideyoshi. She kept whining and repeating, "My rose, my rose." Rosa slapped Maria's cheek, lifted her up while covering her mouth, and carried off towards the entrance, trying to at least put some distance between her and Hideyoshi's room. They would still probably be clamorous for a while yet, but he had at least warned her. Hoping that Rosa would show her capabilities as a mother, Hideyoshi closed the door. Is Maria-chan crying again? Looks like it. It's tough for Rosa-san too. When you think about that, our George is almost too good to be true. We should be grateful. You're right. Hand. Oh, sorry. Here you go. It's the magic hand. He put his hand on Eva's forehead again. Maybe there really was magical power in that hand. A truly peaceful look rose to Eva's face, and bit by bit she began to drift off into the land of sleep. As he had promised, Hideyoshi kept his hand on her forehead. Pioggia. By the entrance, with her hand still against Maria's mouth, Rosa was at a loss what to do next. She had been unable to withstand everyone's gaze in the lobby, and had yelled at the children to go upstairs before dashing out of the lobby. And when she was out in the corridor, Hideyoshi had told her that she was being too noisy. Where should I go now? Where should I take this child who is having a tantrum? She felt as though she was about to cry in frustration, and Maria kept struggling in an attempt to scream. Rosa put her mouth up to Maria's ear and tried to persuade Maria in a calm voice as she could manage. Maria, you really want to see that rose that much? Maria nodded her head several times, moaning ooh. Why do you want to see that rose that much? Listen to you. I'll listen to you, so will you tell me quietly? I'll hit you if you scream. Maria, my rose. Beatrice revived it. It might have broken again. I'm worried about that. Can't sleep until I make sure. It seemed that she was still making a fuss about that marked rose from yesterday. Rosa felt her headache throbbing again, but she was at least a little relieved that Maria had now stopped her screaming. Anyway, everyone is having a hard time right now, so don't bother Mama and everyone else. You can worry about that rose all you want tomorrow when it stops raining. So just listen to me for now. No. My Beatrice's rose. Rosa reflexively covered Maria's mouth. She had spoken a little too harshly and had gotten her agitated again. Rosa realized that it was partly because... Perché io tento di finire le frasi senza leggerle? Rosa realized that it was partly of her own fault she clicked her tongue in self-hatred. But Maria thought that was directed at her, and her crying grew even fiercer. I'm begging you, be quiet. What can I do to make you stop crying? What should I do to make you listen to what your mama says? Abruptly, Maria stopped crying unnaturally fast. Then she turned around and muttered, If I can see my rose, I'll be quiet until tomorrow. Really? Yeah. If we go to the rose garden and I see my rose, I'll behave. I mean it, Mama. If he would keep Maria quiet for the time being, Rosa thought that even going out into this wind and rain would be a small price to pay. She did think it might be a bit reckless, but in the end no murder or anything of that sort had actually occurred. All of that clamor since this morning have been a farce set up by Kinzo. If you carefully thought about the chain of locked rooms, it communicated more clearly than anything that it was an act by the victim themselves. Will you really listen if we go see that rose? Yeah. I mean it, Mama. Heck. Rosa didn't overlook that creepy laugh and lightly hit Maria with her fist. And she shrugged as though giving up. Fine. You have one look and be satisfied. Understand? Yes, Mama. I promise. Basta che non lo fa col fucile. Once again, Rosa tested the weight of her gun. It's alright. It's only a farce. There was never a murderer on this island in the first place. Damn it! Wait, Auntie Rosa! Are Auntie Rosa and Maria the sacrifice for the second twilight? Damn it! Someone noticed them! Tell them to stop! What are these guys in the living room and us kids doing? They are being considerate of Rosa's pitiful relationship with her daughter and are forcibly changing the subject. The group you are in went upstairs and are talking about something else while watching TV. God damn it!
誰か気づけよ
Someone noticed them!
一番近くにいるのは
Who's the
誰か
closest? Is it Uncle Hideyoshi?
頼むよ
Please notice that the two are leaving through the front door! He won't reach. Don't disturb their precious time together. Hideyoshi kept talking kindly with his hand on Eva's forehead. He didn't notice that Rosa and Maria were going outside through the front door at all. In that case, there was no way that the others in the lobby, which even further away, would notice either. And the cousin's room upstairs was even worse. Why are you so panicked? On the first line, Twilight, didn't you defeat me with that bold move, saying that the culprit died in an accident on the first Twilight? Doesn't that mean that there is no longer a culprit on this island? What is there to be so worried about? Shut up! I can see right through you. Someone stop them. Those two will be killed. Butler ormai come noi ha capito quando le cose stanno per andare male. There was no way that Butler's voiceless scream would reach Rosa or Maria. The two of them could be seen in the rose garden. The rain was still awful, but fortunately the wind had died down a little. No, maybe that wasn't fortunate, because if the wind had been a little fiercer, Rosa would surely have hesitated to go outside. Here it is! Maria found her own rose with the gold lace and stared at it lovingly. Rosa had accepted with the premise. Mamma mia! Rosa had accepted with the promise that Maria would only have one look at it, but she didn't want Maria to complain that it didn't have been enough later on, so she decided to go along with her until she was satisfied. She believed that there wasn't a culprit, but if by any chance she was mistaken, they were now in an extremely dangerous position. Rosa realized that faintly herself. If things got bad, she would throw away her umbrella and ready her gun. Keeping the innocently rejoicing Maria in the corner of her eye, Rosa gazed warily in all directions. Eccola! Were her eyes just tired? Even though no one should have been there, she thought she saw something glitter in the dark rose garden with all its wind and rain. Gold colored? It had to be her imagination, because to Rosa it seemed as though gold butterflies were dancing through the rose bushes. You're right, Eva. Just take it easy. And I should call Dr. Nanjo after all. I'm all right. Don't take your hand away. I'm begging you. Don't take your hand away. Eva was breathing widely. Beads of sweat were appearing on her forehead. It certainly was true that she had stayed up all night last night, but that things had been rough since this early morning. It wasn't odd that her body was keeping up. Mamma mia, fammi rileggere tutto. It certainly was true that she had stayed up all night last night, and that things had been rough since early this morning. It wasn't odd that her body wasn't keeping up. Even though he understood that, Hideyoshi suspected that Eva's sudden fever was a sign of some serious illness. Several times Hideyoshi suggested to call Dr. Nanjo, but Eva resisted firmly, pleading with him and saying that it was even more important that he didn't take his hand away. I understand, But you've got to have Dr. Nanjo look at you by lunchtime. You can promise me that, and I'll stay here the whole time, gripping your hand. Tightly, like this. Thank you. Fine. The magic of your hand will definitely make this fever subside. Even as she said that, Eva's harsh breathing didn't improve in the slightest. Don't let go. Don't let go. Madonna. Who's there? She saw an umbrella moving from beyond the rose bush. Rosa threw away her umbrella and wildly lifted her gun. When she did, the figure beyond the bush showed itself. Auntie Eva? You scared me. So, it was you, Nesan. Do you have some business? Do you want to continue our earlier discussion? Yes. That's right. Our discussion about father's gold. Please restrain yourself in front of Maria. I've been keeping my promise, okay? I won't get in the way of your scheming. Scheming? What's that? Whatever you're thinking, that is up to you. I have no desire to get in the way. So please, not in front of Maria. As long as I get my share, that will be enough. Your share? Eva started laughing in a creepy voice. Rosa was startled, but Maria stared blankly. Then Maria just said one thing. Wait, who are you? Your share? Who would give that to you? All of that is mine. It all belongs to me, the golden witch Beatrice. Eva, are you alright, Eva? Eva. Hold on, don't let go. So that I don't get taken away by someone who isn't me. Keep holding on to my hand. Madonna, come non posso amare la doppiatrice di Eva. Cioè, a me fa venire la pelle d'oca sentire sto voice acting. When did you ever work hard? You've never worked hard for anything. You were always hiding in your shadows. You always ran up from shadow to shadow without fighting. And yet, you really think yourself qualified to ask me for the Ushiromiya family gold? All of that is mine. All is mine and mine alone. And as the head of the Ushiromiya family and the new Golden Witch, successor to the name of Beatrice. Beatrice, it's Beatrice! Mama, Beatrice! Frolicking around, Maria jumped at her mother in ecstasy. Rosa treated Maria cold-heartedly and raised her gun high. Your Nesan, right? Your Nesan, right? No. I am no longer the one who was your sister. Then, who are you? Are you going to say that you're Beatrice? That's impossible. You died 19 years ago. Yes, you are definitely dead. After all, I clearly saw that your head was smashed. I can remember your inside flowing out like it was yesterday. How could you be alive? Right here and now. The concept of death does not exist for a golden witch. The names of the golden witch and Beatrice will be handed down for all eternity. Maybe the Beatrice you knew met with death, but that name is mine now. Therefore, it is endless. The concept of death does not exist for Beatrice. How pitiful, Nesan. The gold has caused you to lose the distinction between fantasy and reality. I said I'm not your sister anymore. Well then, as the new Beatrice, I have been tasked with my own resurrection ritual. Ronove, what should I do? That is up to you, Beatrice-sama. You already have the power to make whatever you think reality. You should grow used to it if you use it a little. You worthless former sister. You should consider yourself an honor to have been selected as my first sacrifice as a witch. On the second twilight, I'll tear apart the two war clothes with my own hands. Mamma mia che banger! Questa è la mia seconda canzone preferita. The first thing the new Beatrice wished. No, the first magic she tried to use was to surpass the limitation given to humans. In particular, gravity. She wanted to become fully aware of her transformation into a witch by being released from those shackles. As the witch and Rosa stayed as they were, the ground retreated all by itself into the distance below them. By now, their feet were no longer attached to the ground. Rosa finally realized that the ground hadn't retreated into the distance below her, but that she and the witch had been sucked up into the rainy sky. Awesome. To humans shackled by gravity, there is nothing more unnerving than not having their feet on solid earth. However, to Beatrice, who had learned the joy of being released from gravity as the new witch, it was enough to cause her whole body to shake with delight. Hey, Rosa, do you remember long ago, when we were small, when we used to talk about how it would be like to become witches and fly around the sky? It's come true, you know. I became a real witch and granted it for you. Stop it! Wake me from this dream. You said it. You said it that we flew through the sky in your dream. And you also said that you hadn't wanted to wake up. You were even mad at me for waking you, right? Don't worry. You won't wake up this time, alright? Come, dance with me in the vast sky, rainy sky. Didn't we wish together that we fly like seagulls in the sky and escape the cramped and boring island of Rokkenjima? Now I'll make that dream a reality for you. That is why I want to share this joy with you and no one else's. Isn't this so fun, Rosa? Isn't this so fun? Take a look below you. Look at how small our mansion is. I wonder how much time we spent in such a small place. Now, I'm especially shocked at how cramped and tiny it was. So feel, enjoy, rejoice. That power we yearned for, the power to move through the sky at will. Come now, let's dance, Rosa. Through the rain, through the wind. Let's fly around like we're dancing. The lightning will shine on us and bless us. The witch and Rosa were like leaves fluttering around in a whirlwind, as the rain pounded upon every part of their bodies, as the lightning occasionally shone upon them. They shook with the joy of being released from the ground. However, it was only that way for the witch. Rosa was holding on to her head, voicelessly screaming over and over. Stop it, please, no more! Let me down! You're right. It's more fitting for humans to crawl on the ground. Then, why don't you get back there? A slightly displeased expression rose to the witch's face when she realized that her own joy was not being shared, as she decided to listen to her former sister's request. The whirlwind that had been making Rosa dance around grew weaker, then stopped. In other words, Rosa was once again bound by the restrictions of gravity as a human. Following the laws that were originally correct, Rosa began to descend towards the ground upside down. No, she began to fall. Oops! Oh, aspetta. Oops, that's right. If you don't take her down the right way, this will happen. The witch hadn't intended to send Rosa plummeting, but she still wasn't used to using magic. After plummeting about 100 meters into a rose bush, as a very, very natural result, Rosa died instantly. But the witch hadn't intended to kill her, so she willed for Rosa not to die. When she did, golden butterflies called up around Rosa's body, reviving that life just as the witch has wished. Rosa's body, which had laid down on a radial carpet of fresh blood, rapidly returned to normal. The broken and crushed bones returned to normal. The torn and smashed flesh returned to normal. How easy it was to break things in this world, and how difficult it is to fix them. Anyone can take a life, but no human can revive a lost life. By surpassing the irreversible, one proved that they have already surpassed humans. This surely gave her a much, much greater realization that she was a witch, rather than flying through the sky had. Awesome. I can revive unended life. Of course, Beatrice-sama, you are already the endless witch. To live and to die, to bring to life and to kill, all of it repeated endlessly. Beatrice-sama, as the endless witch, You are the queen who controls the cycle of life and death. One time, I dropped a goldfish bowl. The fragile and beautiful bowl broke, and I couldn't put it back together again. That cute Popeye goldfish would never swing for me again after it landed on the floor. No matter how much I cried, the servants shook their heads, saying that broken things and dead things could never be revived. That's when I learned, you know? You mustn't break things. You mustn't kill people. After all, you can't fix them. So, if you could fix them, then you wouldn't get in trouble for breaking them, right? Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Voglio aumentare un attimino. No, clear, no. Vorrei un attimino. Adesso abbiamo sentito bene la musica, la riabbasso un pochino. Okay. For a while, the witch became intoxicated with how terrible and wonderful the power she had succeeded was. Her life was pure, innocent, and also cruel. Even though Rosa had been revived, she let out a cry of anguish at the pain from her fall. The witch landed in front of her and held out her hand. Oh, sorry about that, Rosa. I didn't think flying in the sky would be so much fun. Sorry. I'm really sorry. And I didn't know the humans could die so easily. But I've brought you back to life, so we're fine now. So get up, okay? Play with me some more, okay? What were those dreams you told me about when you were a kid? Go ahead, tell me about all of them without holding back. As I am now, I can make anything come true, no matter how absurd. I can let you drown in an ocean of jelly. I can swallow you up in a mountain of cake. I can make you grow butterfly wings and let you fly around in the garden. I'll do them one after another. I'll start with the ocean of jelly, okay? Stop! Look! Rosa was once again thrown high into the rainy sky. However, the sky wasn't just filled with raindrops, but with drops of orange juice. When she looked down, Rosa had to doubt her eyes. The rose garden had disappeared, and the ground spread out beneath her was a pastel-colored jigsaw puzzle. It was from the dream that she had talked about when she was young, an ocean of jelly. The black part was coffee jelly, the red was strawberry, the yellow was pineapple, the green was melon. What was that white part? Apple, perhaps? Did Rosa even have the time to think something like that? Rosa fell towards that multicolored ocean. And sank deep into a grape-flavored purple sea. It was an ocean of jelly. It had no bottom. As Rosa sank, she was shocked to see a school of transparent fish swimming through the grape jelly ocean. They were probably made of grape skin. Then she sank on and on, deeper and deeper, as deep as the Mariana Trench, compressed tightly by the water pressure of the jelly ocean as her rib crushed and crunched and her spine snapped and cracked. In the end, she had become a small, frail meatball. What a truly wonderful experience! To drown to death in an ocean of jelly. It's a dream no one else can imitate. And I can grant it for you. The instant I stepped my fingers, the meatball that had been Rosa was launched up into the sky. After being enveloped in a golden brilliance, she returned to her original form. It was as simple and easy as returning dried seaweed to its original form, and anyone could do it, if they were a witch. The vacant look on Rosa's face had to be because of a joy from having that dream as she had given up on as a child made into reality. Definitely. Probably. Next is the mountain of cake. In an instant, the sky was covered and became patterned black and white, like a chessboard. That almost transparent white part was her favorite gelatin cheesecake. The elegant black part was a slightly bitter gâteau au chocolat. They were a ceiling, they were a mountain, and those several billion cakes were thrown down towards Rosa. If you piled those cake ups, he would surely be taller than Everest. And so they probably waited, but I'm not too sure. But it was probably heavier than all of the cakes across Japan put together. It fell down like a ceiling and swallowed Rosa up. So as a very, very natural result, Rosa was crushed to death. In less than a second, her bones broke throughout her body and her insides were all smashed and forced out. And yet still an even greater number of cakes piled up on top, and Rosa ended up a layer of jam wedged between the cakes. As she became as thin as a single hair and was probably smashed out into the area of a tennis court. That world, swallowed up by cake, was once again absorbed into a golden flash. Then, as though it had all been a dream, Rosa was revived once again. Of course, it definitely wasn't a dream. She had been revived after dying. At that point, which most humans only have to experience one after they are born, had already been experienced repeatedly by Rosa. In other words, she had gone through that which humans cannot, that precious experience of dying more than once. It's so fun! Rosa, isn't this fun? Next time, it's the butterflies. Look! Please, have mercy. No way! Let's play more! Let's play more! Laughing innocently, she pointed her gold staff at Rosa and she begged for mercy. When she did, Rosa glittered gold and rapidly began to shrink. She shrank down to the size of a real butterfly. Then gold wings sprouted from her back and she joined her fellow golden butterflies. However, while a human body could withstand the wind, it was a different matter for a butterfly's body. The gold butterfly Rosa was invited to dance by each gale of wind and she spun in circles around the garden. A gentle bed caught her as she was tired from dancing, in a soft-knit hammock in the shadows beneath the roof of the arbor. The owners of that hammock lumbered into view, welcoming its rare guests who had wandered out into this stormy night. That owner, which should have been small enough to crush in the palm of your hand, now looked as big as the top of a canopy bed to Rosa. What a klutz! You've been caught in a spider's web! This time, it's a dance with a spider! Ah, that takes me back. Remember the times we find a spider web and play around by throwing pebbles at it? I've heard that spiders don't chew their prey, but insert their venom, and when their insides melt in a sticky soup, they suck it out. Hey, Rosa, remember? Remember how we'd throw butterflies into the spider webs on purpose and play around by seeing how the spiders would attack? Oh, you don't remember, do you? This happened before you've got into grade school. You'll be able to see it up close this time, you know? Very close. Have mercy, Nesan! Help me, Nesan! This girl's not bad. She can use magic at will. Interesting. You feel like laughing too, right, Butler? Stop this bullshit! Just stop! What's so fun? You're insane! What's so fun about doing something like this? Doesn't she look like she's having so much fun? I don't blame her, magic is fun. I remember, when I first became able to use magic, I played around so much. Yes, I understand. That play from the bottom of my heart. I expect I won't be able to share this joy and passion with you, Butler. Ah, what a shame. If you accepted me, I'd teach you magic anytime you wanted, you know? It's hard to describe the joy you receive in the instant you are freed from the shackles of humanity. I want to teach you about it, that joy, that passion. I definitely would like to see the world of your magic. Mamma mia. I definitely would like to see the world of magic you would give birth to just once. Butler non è così, Beato. You're starting to enjoy yourself, right? You've started wanting to use magic, right? It's pretty fun to be a witch, you know? Just for you, I'll teach everything. About the joys of flying together in the sky, about the joy of diving together through the sea. I'll teach you the excitement that you feel the instant you surpass the bounds of humans and see how wide your world stretches. Wouldn't that be fun? There was no malice in Beato's expression. It was hard to believe, but she was genuinely enjoying this cool show, as though she was sharing her appreciation with Butler. Butler was aghast at that vastly, hopelessly different measure of value. This is unbelievable. There's definitely something screwed up with you. Stop it already, goddammit! Virgilia, make her stop this insane farce. What do I have to do? We exist outside the board. We cannot touch the board itself. Virgilia shook her head apologetically. She was the one who had already been killed. Did that mean she couldn't interfere in any way? As Beato continued to enjoy in a crazed sort of way, Butler lifted her up by the collar and yelled at her. Stop it, stop it, stop it! That's enough, you goddamn witch! Are you trying to tell me that's Auntie Eva? That's impossible! While the Auntie Eva I know may a bit mean at times, it's completely impossible that she'd be the kind of person that would do something this cruel. This is all part of your deception. Don't toy with Auntie Rosa. Don't toy with Auntie Eva. Stop this farce right now! But I've already said that it's not me playing with Rosa anymore. I've told you that's the new Beatrice. It's already so cruel that you have to squeal like that. You're also pretty fond of stuff like this, aren't you? You actually have just a bit of interest in magic and... What was that? For the first time, Butler slapped Beato across the cheek. Beato didn't know why something like that would be done to her, and a stunned expression rose to her face. Butler found that expression even more unforgivable, and he roared. You call this interesting? What the shit is wrong with your head? Go kill yourself! Slice the top of your head off and try looking inside. You'll definitely find that the insides have been completely removed. Make her stop it right now. Make her stop this disgusting farce. I'll never forgive you. How dare you do something so cruel? I've sometimes thought that you're a bit of a funny person, but I'll never make that mistake again. So you're just a monster who's nothing but cruel. Don't show yourself in front of me. Never again. I won't accept you. I won't talk to you. I don't even want to look at your face. That got through you? Don't show yourself in front of me. Just fuck off! The instant Butler screamed, the power that resisted the witch became a red wall which repelled Beato, knocking her back onto her butt. What are you talking about? Isn't this an interesting show? She spoke as though making an excuse, but the person those words were directed at, Butler, was no longer there. His figure had suddenly disappeared into the darkness. But Beato pouted her lips and continued trying to explain herself. It's not like I completely don't see where you're coming from, but this is nothing more than an innocent prank, right? No matter how she kills, that person will be brought back to life in the end, right? Aren't human creatures that are fine with anything as long as it ends well? Right, Master. It's not something to get so angry about. She was hoping for approval, but Virgilia simply faced her with an indifferent expression. To Beato at that moment, even as an exasperated face would probably have seemed better. I have nothing in particular to say. If you think this is fun, you can keep watching for as long as you want. Call me when it's over. I will erase my form until then. Following Butler's lead, Beatrice, Virgilia, hid herself in the darkness. Left sitting there on her own, Beato didn't have a clue what was going on, and felt like she had been made out to be the bad guy. What's so wrong? It's an interesting show, isn't it? Might be a little vulgar, but fairly interesting, isn't it? Right, nuove. It's nothing to get so mad about, right? Something interesting for you, milady, is not necessarily interesting for Butler-sama. Does he really hate me that much? Well, certainly we are playing against each other, so it's true that we are enemies. But is our relationship really so bad that we can't laugh together at entertainment? Since I applauded together with Butler, I thought I could at least laugh together with him. Does he really reject me so much that we can't even do that? He doesn't have to accept that I'm a witch, because the point of the game is to compete over that. But still, saying he won't look at my face, that he won't talk to me. Surely ignoring me is going too far. Am I really hated that much? The moves you have made thus far are certainly worthy of hatred, milady. Even a demon such as myself can slightly understand Butler-sama's feeling. I wonder if you cannot understand that because you are especially thick-headed, milady. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up! Why don't you disappear too? Yes, certainly. Then, if you would excuse me. Even Ronove hid himself in the darkness and Beato was left alone. There was only the only one in the rainy rose garden. Mamma mia, cos'è che ho detto? The only one in the rainy rose garden. No one will play with a lonely witch. Because no one would play with her, she was a lonely witch. What's going on? Why won't anyone play with me? Am I really that weird, that cruel? Someone answer me. Isn't this fun, Rosa? Isn't this fun? Hey, how should we play next? Of course, I play with Maria too, okay? Let's have a friendly walk together. Let's swim in a pot of boiling chocolate. Let's have a picnic in a cake-rising oven. Hey, new Beatrice. Behind the witch who was continuing her spree of tragedy, Beato showed herself. Her expression was very rare for her. It was kind of restrained, somehow unreliable, miserable. Oh, it's the predecessor Beatrice-sama. Were you watching? The power of magic is truly wonderful. Until now, I have never thought it would be so fun to be reborn as a witch. It's like playtime never ends. Come on, let's pray together, predecessor-sama. But first, wait for a second, okay? The two of them were cooked to death in the oven, so I have to revive them again. They're like bread rising because of the yeast. Like cookies expanding in an oven. Listen to what I'm saying. Well, isn't that enough for the sacrifices for the second twilight? Of course, it isn't specified how you kill them, but maybe you shouldn't toy with them any more than that. What are you saying, predecessor-sama? I heard from Ronove a short while ago that your magic was so much more wonderful, cruel and self-indulgent. A Halloween party where candies poured out of the 6 people's stomachs. How truly wonderful. As for me, maybe I'll act out Ellie's tea party. I'll invite everyone to the tea party and celebrate a happy unbirthday. And entertain them one by one with magic. I wonder if I can do it as wonderfully as you. I wonder if I can be as cruel in my own pop cute way. Now that I think about it, all fairy tales are cruel, aren't they? Now that I am a witch inside one of those fairy tales, I can finally understand. I am slightly of the opinion that in the past, I too might have gone a little too far. Well, I think that as the Golden Witch, it's good to have a little elegance. I don't understand what you're saying, predecessor-sama. But there's one thing I do understand. No matter how hard I try now, I am no match for how cruel you are. I've gotta try much, much harder. I've gotta become more cruel and become an excellent Golden Witch. Like I said, you've already done enough here. Anyway, this is my order as your predecessor. That's enough for the second twilight. I'll show you how it's done. Stand back and watch. Ah, yes, predecessor Sama. I can't wait to see what brutal, cruel and disgusting method of killing you'll use. The witch pinched the side of her skirt and gave a graceful bow, stepping back as an expectant gaze rose to her face. She was expecting an even more cruel magic that surpassed even herself. Well, speaking of that, you're only half a witch if you can only kill with methods like that. I will show you an elegant way to kill, worthy of a Golden Witch. When Beato waved her pipe, 7 colors of smoke poured out, reviving Rosa and Maria. Compared to how the new Beatrice had done it a short while ago, it was slightly gentler. It was probably gentler than how Beato had done it herself up until now. Rosa's consciousness had already grown dim from the pain of so many repeated deaths. But even so, she pleaded that her daughter would be spared. Please, have mercy. Even if it's just Maria, have mercy. Sorry. My disciple just acted without restraint for a bit. Forgive me. When Maria realized that it was the real Beatrice, she jumped onto her. You promised, Beato. You promised that you would take me to the Golden Land, right? There I can be friends with Mama and everyone we left together. You promised that you would take us there, right? About that, I can no longer keep that promise. Because someone appeared who could solve the riddle, and I am no longer the Golden Witch Beatrice. So I'm sorry. I can no longer keep my promise with you. Why? Why? Beato, you promised. I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. So at least, in apology for not being able to keep my promise, I'll give you a truly quiet sleep, which you'll never be disrupted again. Beato embraced Maria with a loving expression. Then, softly, a red bruise appeared on Maria's neck. It was a very gentle bruise. It grew redder and redder, and when it distinctly formed itself into the shape of when it distinctly formed itself into a shape of an hand, Maria's neck tilted suddenly, peacefully, as though she had fallen asleep.
Maria.
Sorry. I won't apologize that you were the sacrifice for the second twilight. That is simply your fate. However, I must apologize for the vulgar way in which you were offered as sacrifices. This is your final sleep. Never again will it be disturbed. Beato softly, gently lifted her finger, as though touching the empty air in front of her nose. When she did, a light breeze lifted up, making Rosa's body dance lightly like a feather. Then Rosa floated lightly, and there was the garden fence with its sharp, spear-shaped prongs. The spear of the fence pierced through Rosa's medulla oblongata. Benevolently, without toying with her, in a single blow. Rosa's life was snuffed out. Compared to the earlier innocent yet cruel events, her end was surprisingly tame. It looked like a doll shaped like Rosa was leaning against the fence, but she had passed away. Well, that's pretty much how you do it. Beato acted proudly, but the new witch wore a blank expression, almost as though this was an anticlimax. And she was forthright without opinion. It's kind of plain. Very different from the person Ronove told me about. Well, you must use magic with dignity, you see? If it's too undignified, it isn't very elegant. But you can do wonderful things endlessly with your magic. How boring. Now, no complaining. The path of the Golden Witch cannot be completed in a day. You are still incomplete until you finish the 10th twilight. For now on, stay quiet and follow my instructions. Alright? What happened to your answer? Your answer. Fine. Better, much better. Well, there is still so much to do for the resurrection ritual. You still have to kill 5 people. You should do it without toying with them too much, with beauty and dignity, and with at least a little decorum, alright? What Ronove told you about how I did it was a bad example. You mustn't use that as a model. Engrave that in your heart. Yes, predecessor-sama. Good answer. Ronove, 7 stakes of purgatory. Arise. Yes, milady. Ronove, right here. Lucifer the Proud, right here. Up until this point, I've done things a little flashy. But, well, the dignity of the Golden Witch is also important. So, what I'm trying to say is... Ronove's chuckled as Beato uncharacteristically flustered at Beato's uncharacteristically flustered speech. He summed it up to her. Certainly, from now on we will be careful to perform in a graceful manner, suitable for the name of the Golden Witch. Even the 7 Sisters of Purgatory will reform from their previous bad behavior, and we shall expose to perform our task in the quickest possible manner. Would that be acceptable, milady? That's it. No more, no less. Everyone, take it to heart. Alright? Yes, certainly. That is all I wish to say. You may leave now. Certainly. If you would excuse me. Excuse us. Well, that is all I wanted to say. So, take care as you continue, alright? Go with dignity and decorum, befitting of the Golden Witch. Alright? You should do your best. I will be watching over you. Acting unsure until the very end, Beato communicated only that to her. Became a golden group of gold butterflies and vanished into thin air. It may be fitting to say that she disappeared in a hurry because she was having trouble maintaining the conversation. After that, all that remained was Maria's outstretched body, pounded by the rain, and Rosa's body propped up by the fence and gazing up at the sky. and the figure of the witch. Show some decorum, you say. Her expression looked just a little bored. Then there was a popping sound. That was probably her clicking her tongue. What a boring person. Oh, no. Oh. Ok. Il mouse era finito nell'altro monitor e avevo cliccato sopra stop streaming. Leaving that sentence behind, she too vanished into thin air. Bene, cosa ne pensate della nuova Beatrice, di Eva Beatrice? Tanto sono le 11 e Eva sta dormendo. E questo capitolo si chiama Announcement of Sacrifices. Looks like she's finally calmed down. Hideyoshi wiped his own forehead. For a time, Eva seemed to be having a very painful nightmare, but it appeared that she had finally fallen asleep. As promised, he was still gripping Eva's hand. He thought he would probably be alright to let go about now, but he faithfully continued to hold her hand. Every once in a while, his hand would get tired and he would switch between his right and his left. But even so, as promised, he never let go of her hand. At that time, there was a heavy knock. Eva had finally managed to fall asleep, so Hideyoshi grimaced for just an instant. Anakin, Hideyoshi, sorry. Is Rosa there? It was Rudolph's voice. What could it be? Hideyoshi headed for the door, hiding his footsteps so that he wouldn't wake Eva. It was definitely Rudolph's voice, but just in case, he opened the door without removing the chain. What is it? Something appeared to Rosa. You can't find Rosa or Maria-chan. I thought they might just be with you. I heard her scolding Maria-chan in the corridor. They got quiet after that. I thought they were back to the lobby, didn't they? That idiot. Rudolph clicked his tongue. Other people could be seen in the corridor. It had been some time since Rosa went out into the corridor and she had still not returned, so they had begun to worry. Near the front door, Natsui pointed and removed the chain. The chain isn't set. They must have gone outside to see the rose after all. Going out and leaving the door unlocked. That is simply too careless. What a troublesome person. More importantly, I'm worried about Rosa-san and Maria-chan themselves. Right. Hey, brats. Where was this rose of Maria-chan's? I'm pretty sure it was in the flower bed right in the middle of the rose garden. If those two are there, we should be able to quickly to tell... Mamma mia. If those two are there, we should be able to tell quickly if we go. Dad, I think we should bring them back as soon as we can. Of course! We'll bring them back and spank them on the butt. I'll dash out there and come back. Lock the doors as I go out. Dad, I'll go with you. Don't be an idiot. You're a brat, and what brats do is they watch the house with mommy. What is it? Did something happen? Oh, sorry. Did I wake you up? Seems like Rosa took Maria-chan outside. How reckless of her. Rosa and Maria-chan went outside? Into the rose garden? That's right. Oh, I guess you must have heard. Maria-chan was causing a ruckus because she wanted to see her rose. They mustn't go in the rose garden. Tell Rosa to stop. There's no telling her to stop now. It looks like they left a while ago. Seriously, how reckless of them. It's not it. Not the rose garden. There's a witch there. And she was waiting for a sacrifice. Rosa, you mustn't go. Eva curled herself up again. curled herself up again, holding her head. Her complexion looked very bad. What is it? Did the fever make you dream something bad? It was a dream, yes. In the rose garden, the witch doing that to Rosa and Maria. That's right. It's a dream, yes. Calm down. I'm also in this room. The chain is set too. The shutters closed on the window and there's even a gun. This room is like a fort. There's nothing to be afraid of. Hideyoshi beat his chest, trying to calm her, but Eva's insecure expression didn't change. Under the covers, Eva kept praying that the grotesque nightmare she just had was only a dream. Oh, ciao CP! Eccoli. In the center of the rose garden, Rudolph confirmed the bodies of Rosa and Maria. After that, he returned to the guest house, called for help, and carried both of them into the guest house. If we can trust Nanjo's examination, the cause of Rosa's death was a step to the medulla oblongata with the pointed gate of the fence. It is though that Maria's death was due to strangling with bare hands. However, due to the devil's proof, we cannot discount a misdiagnosis. I will say it in red. Rosa and Maria died. The cause of death was as Nanjo diagnosed. She wasn't eaten by a spider, nor was she crushed by a mountain of cake. Don't worry. So you argue that even though you toyed with her death so much, it's all okay because the corpse is clean. Definitely won't forgive you. All of that brutal treatment you gave Auntie Rosa. I'll never forget it. Never forgive you for it. Like I said, that wasn't me. I think I gave them a much more peaceful death than the way she treated them. Shut the hell up. Don't want to listen to you. I've been told that there are no more than 18 people on this island. And now that 8 people are already dead, the suspects are narrowed down to 10. One of them probably killed those 2. Or it could be an accidental death. Like Maria was having a tantrum, and when Auntie Rosa tried to stop her crying, she misjudged how much power she was using and accidentally killed her. Then in her consternation she slipped and fell, landing on the fence and unluckily died. How's that? There's no need for witch or magic. Well, that's not true. Actually, Rosa and Maria... Shut up. Didn't I say I didn't want to listen to you? You're an eyesore, so get lost, you monster. Butler said that without rage, but with a horribly cold voice. Beato had also felt something out of place since the beginning. In a fight, both of them could go at each other without restraint. However, he wouldn't even step into the ring. She could feel that coldness. Beato wasn't pleased about that at all. Aspetta un attimo. Da qualche volta... a me dice che non... allora... Dall'inizio della live ho perso 0,4 frame, che vuol dire che sono 1532 frame, contando che siamo 60 frame al secondo, su 387.000 frame, quindi veramente 0,4%. Può darsi che sia la tua connessione in questo momento. Beato wasn't pleased about that. She thought about flaring up, but she held back. Maybe even though she was innocent and childish, she had enough sense to realize that she shouldn't fight. Is that so? Then I will hide myself. Ronove, continue for me. Certainly. Will that be satisfactory, Butler-sama? There are no problems with that proposals. If Butler-kun says that he doesn't want to see Beato's face, I believe that will be an mamma mia. I believe that If Butler-kun says that he doesn't want to see Beato's face, I believe that will be an acceptable alternative. Do what you like. I couldn't care less what you do as long as I don't have to look at that monster's face. Hey, wait a second. You keep saying monster, monster, but isn't that a mean way to speak to me? Why do you instinctively hate me so much, Butler? None of that was me. It was all the work of my disciple. It's not like I'm mad about what happened just now. It's from the very beginning. But come on, Butler. Don't misunderstand, alright? Aren't we just a pair of players confronting each other through a game? We look for moves to make things painful for each other, but don't get the wrong idea. I don't hate you because you're my rival in this strange game about whether I accept you as a witch or not. I just cannot in any way forgive how senselessly cruel you are. That's because a serial murder is part of the game. It's probably impossible to avoid a little cruelty. I'm not just talking about what just happened. The last time, and the time before that too. Tearing everyone's stomach and stuffing it with sweets, blowing their faces. What was the point of all of that? All the stuff about locked room murders and tricks and alibis, I'm willing to give you a pass on all of that. You want to claim that these are the murders done by magic, so I'll grudgingly accept that those complicated crimes have to occur. But what exactly are those grotesque murders supposed to mean? Well, nothing much. That's right. They don't mean literally anything. You're just fooling around by mangling the corpses for fun. That has nothing to do with whether you're a witch, or whether it could or couldn't be done with magic. You're just exploring the depths of cruelty for fun. I don't hate you because you're a witch or something like that. They're just things I cannot forgive as a human. What do you mean, as a human? For example, the 6 people of the first Twilight for this game. Well, the grandfather, other than grandfather being burned black, the other 5 corpses were killed in a normal way without any unnecessarily shaming of the dead. It wasn't clear whether the weapon was a spear or a gun, but anyways, as far as the killing goes, that was permissibly better. That was much better than the insanity and cruelty of the first Twilight last time and the time before that. And this time, they were 6 locked rooms tied together to make a locked room chain. That was sort of interesting. When we were going back and forth with each other on that, to be perfectly honest, I thought it was just a little fun. You were frantic to make me accept your existence, and I was frantically trying to deny it. We were both frantically doing all we could. This may sound weird, but I even felt a faint sense of sportsmanship between the two of us. We exist in conflict, but I faintly thought that we might not be completely unable to understand each other's existence. But just now, that feeling was blown away without a trace. That's where you're misunderstanding. That wasn't me. That's not it. That's not what I'm talking about. You watched Auntie Rosa being killed horribly over and over, and you sneered at it like it was an interesting show. When I saw that, I was deeply disappointed. When I realized that your decision to kill them in a slightly better way this time had been nothing more than a little whim, and that nothing had changed in your cruel character, I was deeply disappointed. And that's not all. You were even genuinely enjoying a brutal death. You were just acting as cruel as you could to bully me. You truly genuinely enjoy cruelty. Your character lets you enjoy it. You saw Auntie Rosa being brutally killed over and over, and you said, "Isn't this fun?" That wasn't sarcasm. You enjoyed it from the bottom of your heart. Wanted to share that feeling with me, and you said, "Isn't this fun?" In that instant, I despaired and I realized the truth. The problem isn't whether you're a witch or not. That cruelty of yours is unforgivable to me. And I can't understand it. I can't forgive it either. Still, I'll continue this game of whether to accept or deny witches. I won't step down and accept my own defeat. However, your pointless cruelty is absolutely not needed for that game. So I've decided that I won't accept you as my opponent. Ronova is 100 times better. He doesn't have the same cruel hobby as you do. And even if he does, he doesn't have to be. He doesn't have the awful taste to show it off in front of me. That's right. You have an awful taste. You heartless and cruel. So you are heartless and cruel, and so you can't understand. That's unpleasant in an opponent. So I don't want to see your face again. After Butler had finished his rant, Beato shocked into silence. Mamma mia. After Butler had finished his rant, Beato was shocked into silence for a long time. Maybe she couldn't understand what she was being told, or maybe this was a sign that she was doing all she could in an effort to understand. For a while she kept switching between angry expressions, frustrated expressions, bold expressions, as though she didn't even know herself what attitude she should take. In the end, she made her face into a candid expression, as though she had come to her senses, and shrugged her shoulders as though she was tired. In that case, do as you like. From now on, I will continue the game through Ronova. You have no complaints as long as I don't show myself, right? For the time being. But I definitely won't forgive your countless cruel actions up until now. So I definitely won't accept you. For that reason, as well, I won't back down from this fight you've picked. And I definitely won't lose. That's all there is to it. Beato. No matter how many excuses you give, his expression of you will not waver. I have something to talk about later. Till then, stay back. Alright. Then I'll hide myself until I'm called. Looking lonely, Beato turned her back to them and hid herself. Butler watched, a slightly displeased expression on his face. He thought his argument had been valid, but for some reason his mood didn't clear up. She's an idiot. That's true. An idiot and honest. That idiot watched with me as Auntie Rosa was horribly killed, and turned around with a huge smile on her face. She really believed that she could laugh with me at that cruel show. She really believed that I could sympathize with that emotion. Looking at that innocent smile, I just felt horrible. I felt just horrible. It would have been much better if she'd just said it with her normal bullying face. Damn it. Milady has never had the experience of having a friend. In addition, she has probably never had someone spoken to her that strongly. Both Madame and I are her attendants. No matter what we say, it will not reach her ears. For Milady, this is also... To hell with that. I don't remember ever becoming her friend. That is true. My apologies. There is one thing I would like to thank you for. Thank you for not backing down from that child's game. She spoke words of gratitude, but for some reason Butler made a displeased face. Then, as though finding revulsion in his own bad mood, he chuckled. Now that I even got witches and demons thanking me, I'm screwed. Let's resume the game. Of course, I don't intend to go easy on you. I wouldn't have it any other way. Unlike me, lady, I do not get agitated. I've already made my move. If we suppose that Auntie Rosa is the culprit and died in an accident, I can deny the witch. I don't want to suspect Auntie Rosa, but for now, I'll deliberately assume that it was her, just to beat the hell out of Beato. I will deny it with red. Rosa and Maria's death were homicides. Alright. Why don't we start from there? Damn. I'm just not getting fired up. Since Rosa and Maria had been killed, it had become clear that the murderer was still hiding somewhere, trying to add even more murders to this chain. As he shed tears, Rudolph scolded Rosa's body over and over for being reckless, but Rosa would never respond to that again. They decided to place the two bodies in one of the guest rooms to seal it until the police arrived. The second murder, no. The murder of the second Twilight had delivered a heavy blow to everyone, but he had blown away the optimism some of them had held. Un attimo, adesso sono segnati come morti, immagino. Sì, quindi li segniamo anche noi come morti. Abbiamo Maria e abbiamo Rosa. Died in the rose garden, with her medulla oblongata having been pierced by the spear-shaped parts of the fence. If Maria's death hadn't been murder, it might have been possible to suspect an accident. It was this very woman who became the sacrifice for the birth of the new witch. The corpse discovered in the rose garden, the cause of death is strangulation, probably barehanded. Thinking about the situation, it seems reasonable to think that she was killed after Rosa, and then her blood became the red ink for the witch's oath. Okay. They thought that actually a crime didn't occur and it was a game or a farce by Kinzo and the servants. Trying to distract themselves from the sadness of losing the people they loved, Jessica and George had spent the whole time since morning talking about every possibility, and they had distracted their hearts by supposing that these murders might actually have all been an act, but that Shannon and Cannon were only pretending to be dead. When the murders occurred again, it destroyed that thought, and they were once again confronted with the fact that their loved ones had most definitely been killed. The tears that they thought they had died away began to drip once more, and Butler couldn't think of anything to say to them. Dead angle. After that, to be extra cautious, all of the adults checked all the rooms, that all the rooms were safe, and that everything was locked. They made certain that the shutters of all the windows were down and locked, and they checked that no one suspicious was hiding anywhere. On top of that, they checked their weapons once again and made sure that each other's heart were prepared, so they wouldn't hesitate to fire off a preemptive shot if they saw the shadow of a mysterious person. Furthermore, the gun Rosa had been holding had been left near the place she had been found. Someone had gone out of their way to leave it there, so everyone suspected that it was some kind of trap. But when Hideyoshi made ingenious use of her fire iron to fire off a test shot, it discharged without a problem. Oh, calm me. When all 5 shots have been loaded discharged without any problems as a result, it was reloaded with bullets and handed over to the only adult male who wasn't armed, Hideyoshi. However, the fact that he had been able to fire off 5 shots gave rise to a certain paranoia. The short barrel rifle could load a maximum of 5 shots. In other words, Rosa hadn't fired once. And yet, the two had probably been killed by someone with their bare hands. This meant that there was a possibility that the crime had been committed by someone whose face they knew. Beh, noi sappiamo che questo è per certo. Se ragioniamo un attimo, allora, momento ragionamento umano senza streghe. Però usando ovviamente il rosso che ci viene dato dalle streghe come certezza. Allora, noi sappiamo che non può essere stato nessuno dei 6 dell'inizio perché sono tutti morti. Niente, non può essere stato Goda, non può essere stato Kanon, Shannon, Kumasawa, Genji e Kinzo. Loro 6 non hanno potuto assolutamente esserlo. Quindi gli altri sospettati sono gli altri umani rimasti, no? Il modo in cui è morta Rosa in realtà potrebbe essere un incidente. C'è scritto che è un... Ah no, ma ha detto che è un omicidio, ok. Quindi anche se non è voluto... Oddio, è un omicidio anche se involontario. Pensate, se qualcuno che stava parlando con Rosa l'ha spinta magari, o durante un... come posso dire? Durante una colluttazione scivolata, è sempre un omicidio, ma un omicidio non inteso, giusto? È giusto contarlo come omicidio o ci deve essere l'intento? Questa è una domanda che farei a Ronove. Ci deve essere un intento di uccidere per essere considerato omicidio? Perché esistono gli omicidi, come si dice? Colposi. No? Pensando, cioè, ora come ora... adesso sto guardando nell'altro schermo i sopravvissuti. Allora, tutti i ragazzi erano assieme, tranne che per Maria. Tutti gli adulti erano assieme, tranne che per Rosa, tranne che per Eva e Hideyoshi. Sì. È vero, dovremmo chiedere a... Giusto, Cipi, giusto. Non ha detto che è un omicidio volontario, ha detto che è un omicidio. Può essere volontariamente o no. Sappiamo anche, grazie a quello che ci è stato detto da Virgilia nello scorso episodio, che quello che ci viene mostrato con la magia possiamo quasi ignorarlo praticamente. Cioè noi possiamo dire sì vabbè, come ha fatto battere? Sì vabbè, è stata la strega, la schiacciate con la torta, li ha fatte morire in un oceano di gelatina, quello che vuoi. Sì vabbè, guardiamo quello che ci rimane, guardiamo effettivamente concretamente cosa abbiamo davanti agli occhi. E quello che abbiamo davanti agli occhi sono 2 persone, una è stata strangolata e l'altra è caduta o comunque è stata spinta indietro e si è stata infilzata con la fence staccionata. Quindi il fatto è che comunque guardiamo che cosa ci è stato mostrato invece dal punto di vista umano logico. Tutti quanti erano occupati. Non possiamo neanche dire che qualcuno dei primi 6 ha fatto finta di essere morto, perché ci è stato detto che sono stati uccisi in rosso. Non può essere stato un incidente? E appunto Giovane, infatti stavo per dire, Eva sarebbe perfetta come colpevole, per quanto mi dispiace perché Eva è la mia preferita, sarebbe perfetta come colpevole, perché lei avrebbe avuto anche un motivo per essere lì. Magari voleva parlare ancora del discorso dei soldi, dell'oro. Magari gli è venuta qualche paranoia ed è andata lì. E poi discutendo, magari in maniera accesa, l'ha spinta, o non lo so, che ne so, per qualsiasi ragione ha fatto scivolare Rosa è caduta indietro ed è morta. O magari se la prendiamo con l'angolo della motivazione di Strega Beatrice, Eva sarebbe andata lì apposta per ucciderla, perché dice no, è tutto mio, tu sei l'unica persona che sa che Ho trovato l'oro? E hai intenzioni di ricattarmi le cose? Vediamo un po'. E magari l'ha spinta apposta e l'ha uccisa. E poi ha ucciso Maria, perché poverina, cosa può fare Maria? La strangola, così non ci vuole tanta forza. Però Eva e Yoshi erano in camera assieme. Eh sì, com'è possibile? Detto questo, vediamo che cosa dice Kyrie. When the first murder occurred, I privately thought of the possibility that it was all an act. My apologies to Dr. Nanjo, but if he actually been in on it and only convinced us that the servants were dead, I thought it could have been some massive, elaborate act by father. After all, unless we assume that they were acting, the locked room situation of theirs couldn't have been created in the first place. We also suspected that. No, I still want to believe that's the case. My apologies, but that is not so. I am quite old. There may be a chance that I made a misdiagnosis. However, I would never mistake whether they were alive or dead. I get it. Don't freaking say it out loud, Dr. Nanjo. My apologies. They couldn't know about it. Beato had already proclaimed the deaths of the six. This time the death of all victims so far in red. The faint dream that it was all a farce and that the victims were actually alive was sadly impossible. In that case, it's more natural to think that there's someone hiding on this island who knows the mansion inside out, carrying out a crime they've been planning for ages. In other words, for the time the typhoon came to this island and sealed it off from the outside world, there were more than 18 people on this island, cosa che noi sappiamo essere impossibile. And of course, they had no way of knowing this either. The claim of Rudolph's that had been denied in red, there are no more than 18 humans on this island. Maybe it makes sense if we think of it this way. Essentially, there's the possibility that the person who's hiding is someone who wasn't originally supposed to be on the island right now, yet is someone whose face was known by Rosa-san, and with whom she would let her guard down. So for example, could it be a servant whose shift doesn't lie on these 2 days? It would be hard to argue with that one. After they finish their duty, it is not as though we verified that they leave the island by punching a big ticket or something. If we suppose that a servant on a shift from a few days ago only pretended to leave the island and actually stayed here, that would be hard to deny. Rosa-san isn't stupid, if you ask me. If a servant who's not supposed to be here popped in front of you, that normally set alarm bells ringing. I have a problem with assuming it was a crime by an acquaintance. I have a problem with assuming that this was a crime by an acquaintance. Perhaps whoever it was suddenly attacked Rosa from the darkness and were about to steal her gun. Then Rosa fell and hit her head against the fence and stopped moving. The guest house was nearby, so they wanted to avoid the sound of a gunshot, and they killed Maria with their bare hands. That's also a possibility. Still, even if that is the case, wouldn't they intentionally leave Rosa's gun at the scene of the crime? I don't know what the culprit is armed with, but our guns should be a point of worry for them. Wasn't that a perfect chance for them to thin out our supply? Why did they deliberately leave it at the scenes of the crime? At first I thought the gun was a trap. That's what the chessboard thinking said it would be. By purposefully leaving it, they wanted to make one of us touch it. And they must have wanted to make us pull the trigger. But I was sure that it would have some dangerous device to make it explode and cause massive injuries. But it was actually alright. I say, the culprit was probably in a hurry. I bet that right now they're regretting they missed the chance to steal a gun. I don't like it. It pisses me off, cause it's like a message from the witch, saying that she isn't even scared of guns. However, in any event, this is a fearsome opponent. It should have been obvious that to any observer that Rosa-san was holding a gun. To think that they attacked her despite that, we should not neglect the fact that they are unafraid of guns. It is as Natsui says, we should probably be even more cautious than we have ever been. This is just for peace of mind, but at the time we think Rosa-san went outside, where was everyone, appunto? Natsui-san and I were here, along with Rudolph-san and Kiryu-san. I can guarantee their alibis. Eva and I were together. I can guarantee that. Me, George Aniki and Jessica-chan were together too. When Auntie Rosa yelled us to go back upstairs, we turned right around and went back to the cousins' rooms with our tails between our legs. Back then, if we hadn't let Maria go, saying that isn't going to change anything. Dr. Nanjo? I was reading a book in one of the upstairs rooms. I was by myself, so no one can verify my alibi. But I believe everyone saw me return upstairs with the children. You could say any number of things like this, but if we jumped out of the window, if you jumped out of the window, attacked Rosa, then climbed back up and using the rain gutter. Sì, ma l'hai visto? Adesso non per fare shaming o altro, ma non mi sembra una persona atletica che possa buttarsi fuori dalla finestra e risalire con le sue sole forze. Don't be absurd. How could I perform a feat like jumping down from the second story of this old body and climbing up for that matter? Oltre alla sua età, cazzo, ovviamente. Let us stop this, suspecting each other. It's more important that we trust each other and, for the children's sakes as well, defend this place until the very end. Sì, appunto, Luke. Yeah. It's like Natsui-san says. For now, let's stop doubting each other. You're right. We may be useless as far as searching for the culprit is concerned. We can only stay alive until tomorrow, inform the police and follow their instructions. Because the police will definitely expose who the culprit is. Ok. Boh, direi che possiamo concludere qui per il momento.